So far, we've learned how to solve systems of equations, and we went over this during the warm-up. What's the first way we learned? I'm showing. Huh? On the graph. So where's the answer on the graph? Where they intersect. So that's one way to solve a system. Then last week on Thursday, we learned how to solve them by substitution. And that was a very long process. Do y'all agree? Yeah? Okay, today we're going to learn how to solve them by elimination. I promise you guys are going to love this. All right, up here, who can tell me what this is? That's standard form. If you want to solve by elimination, you want your equations to be in standard form. Okay, so we have two equations, and we want to know what point satisfies both equations. That's our job. We need an x and a y. Yes? So last week, how would I have solved this? Isolate a variable and then plug it back into the other equation. Today, you're going to try to get rid of a variable. So everybody look at example 1. In order to do this, you want to line your equation up. X's on top of X's, Y's on top of Y's, and then your C's over here. See how that's AX plus BY equals C? Okay. If I was to combine these, do you see something that would eliminate itself? How? Because a negative and a positive zero out, yes? So what you would do is you would say, okay, a negative y and a positive y would cancel each other out. Now you're just going to combine the equations. What is 6x plus 3x? 9x. What is 5 plus 4? Can I now solve for the value of x? How would I solve? Divide both sides by 9. X equals 1. How much easier is this than what I taught you last week? That's a good question. Why do we teach you the hard stuff? So that you understand that there's multiple ways to solve, but on your EOC, they're going to question you about each process. Remember how you had to pick the equation to isolate the term? They're going to ask you about that. In a system of equations, which one would you isolate? So you do have to know how to do all of them, but when you get to pick the easiest one. Okay? Always pick the easiest one. All right. How would I solve for y now that I have x? Plug in this number for, pick which equation you want. It doesn't matter. I always pick for when y is positive. That's just me. So I'm just going to use this equation right here. So I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to plug that 1 back in. So I'm going to do 3 times 1 plus y equals 4 and solve for y. 3 times 1 is 3. And how would I get that 3 to the other side? By subtraction. So I have y equals 1. So my answer is 1, 1. Super, super easy compared to last week. All right, look at example 2, the one on the right. Do y'all see a term that we can eliminate? I need you to sit up, please.
X.
I can eliminate the x. My next step is to just combine everything by addition. What is 4 plus negative 2? 2y. And what's 9 plus 3? What's 9 plus 3? What's 9 plus 3? 12. All right, how am I going to get the y by itself? Divide by 2. And the value of, y equals 6. Now you pick which equation you want to plug y back into. Don't ask me for help if you're not sitting up and paying attention. You pick which equation. So which one of these do y'all think would be easiest? Yeah, I like to pick the one where the variable I'm looking for is positive. That's just me. So I would choose to plug it back in for that one. Would it work for either one? Yes. So I'm plugging in 6 for y. So I have x plus 4 times 6 equals 9. So x plus 24 equals 9. What's my last step going to be? Minus 24. And so the value of x is negative 15. How would I write my answer? Negative 15, comma 6. Okay, I'm going to do one more with you, and then I'll let you try one on your own. Are we okay? Okay, the next one we're going to do is this one. Do you see anything right now that will cancel out? No. So what you can do is change. You remember how we can multiply everything by a negative and it keeps the same value? So I can multiply this whole equation by negative. This would become negative 1x. What would this become? Negative y. And what would this become?
Negative 1.
Just remember that you have to change every single thing in the equation to keep the value the same. You can't just change one thing. Okay? So what now would cancel out?
The y's.
The y's. So I'm going to combine the rest of it. What's 2 minus 1?
1.
So 1x equals, and what's 7 plus negative 1? So the value of x is 6. Now, if I plug it into this bottom equation, that's now a negative y. I have changed the equation, right? So I'm going to choose the top equation. So I need to do, what am I going to plug 6 in for?
X.
So 2 times 6 plus y equals 7. That's 12 plus y equals 7. Subtract 12. And y equals negative 5. So my x, comma, y. Would y'all like to try the next one on your own? What could cancel out in this one?
The 7y.
Yeah, you don't have to change anything. So 8 plus 5 is 13x. 17 plus 9 is? And divide by 13 and you get 2. Plug 2 back in for x. So I'm doing 5. Oh, which one did y'all want to do? The bottom one? Yeah, I just looked at that. 8 times 2 plus 7y equals 9. That's 16. And then 9 minus 16 is... What's 9 minus 16?
It's negative 7.
Yeah. Divide by 7, and you get y equals negative 1. So 2 comma negative 1. Yes, and there was a typo on the next one. That should say 5y, not 57. Okay, so on the next one, what would cancel out? The 5y's. So 4 plus 2 is? So 6x equals, and negative 28 plus 4 is negative 24. Divide both sides by 6. And you get x equals negative 4. And I'm telling y'all, my handwriting's going to be awful because I can't use this big finger.
What happened?
I have problems. I stabbed myself with a safety pin, and now it's all infected. It was an accident. All right, now I'm going to plug that back in. Which equation would y'all choose to plug it into?
The bottom.
I would too. 4 times -4 is -16 plus 5y equals 4. And then I'm going to plus 16. I'm going to get 5y equals 20. So y is 4. So -4, comma 4. Okay, y'all want to try the next one on your own? You should be working on the next one. What do y'all think about the next one? You have to do what? You have to rearrange one of the equations to be in standard form. Which one's not in correct standard form? The top one. So if I was you, I would just leave this one written. How would I pull this y over there? So I would rewrite it 3x minus y equals 5. Then just scratch that out, and now you have your 2 equations to use. They have to be lined up great for you to do it. Are you finished? Okay, what'd you cancel out? All right, so what's 2x plus 3x? What's 5 plus 5? Divide by 5. What do you get the value of x to be? Are we okay? All right, plug x back in. I chose the top one, so 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus y equals 5, so y equals 1. It's 2 comma 1. Okay, let's try this bottom one on the left. What's going to have to happen? Which one? All right, so you're going to rearrange this one and just write it right under this one. Make sure you rearrange them correctly. Are we all good so far? Okay, what's going to cancel out? What's negative 5 plus 3x? And what's 8 plus 9? Can you get decimals on these? Absolutely. Okay, so divide by negative 2. What's 17 divided by negative 2? Negative 8.5. So now I'm going to plug that back in for x. So I'm going to do negative 5 times negative 8.5 plus y equals 8. Do I need to slow down or are we okay? Are we all okay? Negative 5 times negative 8.5 is, I did it opposite last time. I used the other equation. 42.5 plus y equals 8. And then how am I going to move this to this side? Minus. So 8 minus 42.5 is negative 34.5. So I have negative 8.5 comma negative 34.5. Okay, I want y'all to try the next one because you're going to get some fractions. And that's okay. You can get fractions as answers. How do you know when to write your answer as a decimal and when to write your answer as a fraction? When should you never change it to a decimal? When it's a repeating decimal, like 1/3, something like that, always keep it as a fraction. If it's an easy decimal that's terminating like 0.5, then you can put that as a decimal. Okay? All right, try the next one. Which equation do you need to rearrange? The bottom one. Okay, let's take a look at what you've done. You left the top equation alone, so I'm just going to rewrite it over here just so I can make sure I line it up. And then you should have rearranged the bottom equation by bringing this to this side. Did you add or subtract? Add. So I have 3x plus 4y equals negative 21. Now I can solve by elimination. This is going to cancel out. 9 plus 3 is 12x, and negative 55 plus negative 21 is negative 76, I believe, yes? Divide by 12, and you get to x to be negative 19/3, yes? Could you write that as a mixed fraction? Yes. Could you write that as a decimal? No, because it's a repeating decimal and you don't want to do that. You could divide and say 3 goes into 19 6 times with 1 left over. So it'd be 6 and 1/3, right? Negative 6 and 1/3. All right, but that's fine. You can leave it negative 19 over 3. So I'm going to plug that back in for x. So I'm going to use this top equation. So, or do I want to use the bottom one? I want to use the bottom one because it has the plus sign, right? So 3 times negative 19/3 plus 4y equals negative 21. Y'all can't see that. Okay, so I go to my calculator. 3 times negative 19/3 is negative 9. Why'd I put that in? Negative 19 plus 4y equals negative 21. Add 19, and I get 4y equals negative 2, and then divide by 4. Please don't put that your answer is negative 2. Okay, the smaller number is on top, which means it's going to stay a fraction, which is negative 1/2. So negative 19/3, comma, negative 1/2. All right, turn to the back. Okay, these are the same thing, but they are word problems. So you're going to have to turn the words into equations. How many equations are you going to have? 2. Are y'all ready for the first one? I'm going to let y'all read it and see if you can figure out how to write the equation, and then we'll talk about it. But I want to give y'all a second. Go. Okay, what did y'all think of the first sentence? The sum of 2 numbers is 70. So what does sum mean? Addition, right? So the sum of 2 numbers, do you know the 2 numbers? So can we call them x and y? So x plus y adds up to equal, okay, that part was easy, yes? Okay, one number is 10 more than twice the other number. Now, anytime you see is, that means what? What does is mean? It means equals. What's 2 plus 2 is 4. That's 2 plus 2 equals 4, right? One number, so I'm going to call that the x, is, so I've got x equals 10 more than twice the other number. Okay, well, I already used x, so what's going to be on the other side? How would I write 10 more than twice of y? 2 times y. I'm waiting. Plus 10. Okay, would I need to rearrange any of these equations? Yep, so this one's good. X plus y equals 70. And then this one I need to move that 2y over here by subtraction. So x minus 2y equals 10. What do I need to do now? I can't cancel anything out. Y does not cancel out with negative 2y. Can I cancel one of these x outs? X is out if I change them to a negative. So to do that, I have to change everything in the equation to a negative, right? So this would become negative. This would become positive. This would become negative. All right, now go cancel out and combine. That cancels. What's in front of this y? All right, what's 2 plus 1?
3.
So I have 3y equals 70 plus negative 10 is 60. And then divide by 3, and I get y equals 20. Now, you could probably do this one in your head because it says the sum of two numbers is 70. Well, if one's 20, the other one's got to be 50. Yeah, you could plug that in and do it algebraically too. So x is 50. And you can leave those separate. You can write them as a coordinate, whatever you want. Okay, let's talk about the next one, and then I'm going to let y'all try to write it on your own. It says two angles are supplementary. Does anybody remember what supplementary means? It means that they add up to equal 180. Y'all want to try to write it on your own now? Okay, what's the first equation?
X plus y equals 180.
Yeah, because it says they add up to equal 180. They're supplementary. Now I've got to do the other one. The measure of one angle, I always just start with x, is, how would I write that? Equals 10 more than 3 times the other variable.
3y plus 10.
Yeah, so x is 3y plus 10. Which equation do I need to rearrange?
The bottom.
All right, so I got x plus y equals 180, and then I got x minus 3y equals 10. Are either of those going to cancel out?
No.
No. So what do I need to do? Which one? Probably the bottom one. So I would change, change, change. Make sure you do the entire equation. Cancels out. 1 plus 3 is 4. And 180 plus, that's not a 70, that's a negative 10. It's a negative 10. My negative sign just got too close. 180 plus negative 10 is 170. Divide by 4. And what do we get y to be? 42.5. Okay, go plug that back in and solve for x. So I'm just going to do 180 minus 42.5, which was 137.5. The last one's super easy. Try writing it on your own. What's your first equation?
X minus y equals 3.
Perfect. What's your second equation?
X equals y.
Ah,
X plus y equals
their sum is, this is your equal sign. So how would I write the sum of them? X plus y equals, be careful, whenever you see is, that's where the equal sign goes, okay? All right, what's going to cancel out? The y's. So I got 2x equals 16. Divide by 2. X equals 8. And then 13 minus 8 is